How's everybody today? How's everybody today? All right, come on, let's wake up a little. I know it's been a long set of sessions, but now we're here to do a little entertainment. So I'm from Dreams Quest. We set out on an adventure to help you discover the world in a way that perhaps hasn't ever been told before. We've had researchers that have been discovering ancient knowledge and ancient stories, and our world brings those to life. We're going to do a little bit of animation and we'll show you a little bit of music as well. You know, the gaming world has some challenges. People don't think about this. They think about regulatory and finance all the time when they think about blockchain. But actually, there's a lot of sectors that need innovation and need change. And we thought about a lot of this and said, how do we bring that change together while we bring these new ideas to people to help them kind of see the world differently or as it really is? Now, what we've come to realize, I have kids. How many here have kids? How many of your kids are playing games? Fortnite, Epic, yeah, okay. Let me tell you something that I've discovered, because we've moved countries a couple of times. We've had changes in our accounts. There are some really weird restrictions in the gaming sector. For example, did you know you cannot sell your account? You cannot sell your assets in the games. You cannot trade with other players. You spend a lot of time and a lot of money grinding and playing. And then when you reach a point that you want to move on and do something else, can't do anything with it. If you move countries, by the way, Sony and Fortnite in particular are very restrictive. You're not allowed to sell those, to move those accounts from country to country. We realize this is something that needs to be disrupted. And how do you do that? If you enable people to own their assets and own their accounts and own what they've been doing, then it's up to them what they do with it. Why do we have to be so restrictive in the way we allow people to play? So we're trying to find ways to move from the Web 2 mindset to the Web 3 mindset. This is all about disruption. And we believe that disruption is a core factor to enabling people to have ways to do things in ways they've never done before. But you're wondering where he's come from, right? He enters this fantastic world and discovers it's in decay. As I said, the ancients have given us knowledge, and we're here to help you understand that knowledge and to take you into our entertainment world. We're not just building a game, by the way. We're working with a number of Hollywood producers, writers, composers, vocalists to create an immersive world of content that we can use for TV, film, movie, music, children's books. You know, children right now today, they suffer quite a lot from too much iPad, too much television, and a lot of stress because mom is working, dad is working. They don't get a chance to see the world the way we all saw the world growing up as children, because we didn't have all this technology around us. They're overwhelmed. So we know that there's things we can do to try to help them by giving them worlds of entertainment through story. Now, I'm just going to shift for a minute and talk a little bit about the NFT world, because I think that's quite interesting. And as I mentioned, there's a number of things we can do. Here's another challenge we set for ourselves. We recognize that most games always have single objects as items that you can use when you're game playing. But if you look at a game like Call of Duty, couldn't remember what game it was, Call of Duty, it has tons and tons and tons of accessories and items. And we thought, how come games don't do that? Other than games that are gun-based games, why not give players the ability to interchange a lot of items, but also give ownership of those items? So we created our own version of that. Something a little bit different with a staff and with accessories and with a grip. So we can find ways to bring more to the player and have a little bit more fun with the gameplay. We also include things like crystals. So anybody who has a concept of spirituality and understanding of the world beyond the world we live in right now, because there's many, many ways that we can bring in, let's say, Vedic teachings or Navajo or Hopi or ancient African teachings. There's many, many, many things on the earth that we just ignore or have forgotten. So why not bring these ideas and put them in the game and make it more fun and entertaining? Okay, we're stuck. Okay. So this is just an example of what the weapon looks like. I'm just showing you guys for fun. And just to give you an idea of what a player looks like. Now, the reason I show you this is because when we look at gameplay, it's important for us to see what happens when you're playing on a mobile phone, because we also want you to see when you move from a Web 2 to Web 3. And as I said, one of the key things we've been doing is working on innovation. The challenge that we found is that if you want to make an immersive and an engaging game, how do you build a game in Web 2, especially if it's in a mobile phone, and give them control and ownership and access in Web 3? And normally the way that's done, if you're in blockchain and you know what I'm talking about with confirmations, and every time you buy something, it's a confirmation, and you trade, it's a confirmation, and confirmation, right? That's not an effective way for gaming. So we realized we needed to do something different. We had to find a way to cross this chasm. And again, it was one of these technical challenges we had to overcome. So this is what we've done. What we've done is we've made it so that when you pick up items, earn the items, and own the items in a game, what you'll see is that it shows up in your MetaMask. Now, there was no confirmation, there was no transaction that the player saw, but the items are in their wallet. And that's really important because it means we're transferring ownership to them from the moment they start playing until the moment they complete playing. And once it's in their wallet, it means they can also now sell the items on the marketplace, like the way you would sell something on Etsy. We don't see that as a restriction because it's player ownership. The player owns the asset, they can sell the asset. These aren't restricted assets. These are things you own. You can do what you want with them. It's like trading baseball cards or Pokemon cards. And of course, you have this great weapon. You want to have a little fight. So it's good to share with you some of the animations our team have been working on, because it's been a while. It's a lot of work. It's fun to show you guys, what we're doing. What do you think? Like it? It's good? Okay, something else we've been doing, this is kind of fun, playing with what we call organic matter or ingredients. Because, when you want to, let's take a crystal and you want to infuse that crystal and make it magical and give it special powers, you need a table to work on to do that. So we built a table. Of course, it's in the game. It's something people can do. But all of these things I'm describing are not just for our game. It's also for all of our story, our mythology, and our lore that we can use to create film, book, TV, movie, whatever it is. And, with different time frames or different periods of time, people can experience, let's say, a very violent period of time. You have a more violent movie. And when there's a calm, passive period where things were in enlightenment and beautiful and peaceful, you make something for children. So just to give you another example of how we've integrated the organic matter, because this is more complicated, imagine that you're walking along and you see a bunch of items, you pick them up, you've got them in your wallet, you find now a crystal, you want to pick that up too. And when you pick that up, it magically appears in your inventory and also in your MetaMask wallet. Again, there's been no player interaction in this entire process, but player ownership is there the whole entire time. But more importantly, when the player then does something like infusing the crystal, you'll see that the crystal has changed on the MetaMask side and in the game side. So it's fully synchronizing between in-game and on-chain. This is important because what we're trying to do is to do something that's disruptive, something where we can help people, not just ourselves, but other gamers or other products that realize that there's a value in creating these integrations between what's in Web 2 and what's in Web 3. Oh, he's falling again. What's happened? This time he's facing off with somebody who's not so pleasant. Of course, we have to have sometimes battles or, not pleasant people we come across in our world, whether it's for a film or a TV or a game. So that's the Cyclura, we call her. Okay, last thing I'm going to mention very briefly is that I said at the beginning, we've been working with some Hollywood composers, musicians, what have you. So Adam Berry is a fairly well-known composer amongst the circles of composers. He's not famous like, if you say, Jay-Z or something like that. But he's been working with us since August of last year. He's been composing a song. It's the first song of many that I'm sure we'll produce. It's nearly completed, but we have a small sample of it, which is included with a video. I just want to make sure the sound works when we play the next slide? Yeah. Okay. So do you guys want to hear a song? It's just a little sample of it. Okay. Like it? Cool. Thank you. So with that, I'll conclude. He's done his little magical trick to say thank you and goodbye, but I want to thank all of you for your participation today. And I look forward to being able to bring you some of the films and TVs we've talked about. We're working on it. It's a long journey, but we're working on it. So thank you all for listening, and I appreciate it.